So space is a boundless three-dimensional set of all points, and space contains lines and planes, and the intersection of two or more geometric figures is the set of points they have in common, right? So it's the intersection, is where they hit each other. The intersection of two lines is a point, right? But the intersection of two planes would be a line. So if this is a plane here and here's another plane, you could see the intersection would be this line where they touch, right? Where they hit each other, that line there, right? So the intersection of two planes is a line. And so here's our first example. We're looking at this figure. To name the intersection of planes O and N. So you can see in this figure, it's really confusing, but we have three planes. We have plane O right there, right? It's a cursive O in the corner. We have plane N right there, right? We have a cursive N in the corner. And then we have plane P over here, and you can see we have a cursive P in the corner, right? So we have three planes. And then you'll also notice that we have dotted edges, right? So what do the dotted edges mean? They mean that with the planes in this order, they're parts of the plane that we cannot see, right? So for instance, this plane O, we're not able to see this part of plane O because it's behind plane N, right? And then we're not able to see this part of plane O because it's behind plane P, right? Because these are like three playing cards that are all like connected at the center, right? In the middle. So you have some cards that are behind other cards, or some parts of the cards are behind other cards. So if it's dotted, it means that it's behind another plane and we can't see it in the drawing, but it's still there. So what's the intersection of O and N? Well, we know that the intersection of two planes is a line. And so where does plane O connect with plane N? And that would be right here in the middle. It'd be this line AB, right? So I'm going to put AB like so. The next question is does AB intersect with point D, right? Well, where's point D? It's on plane O, and line AB is on plane O, right? It's on the card. It's in the middle of the card. And so is D. D is on the edge of the card. But does line AB, this one here, intersect or hit point D? No, it does not hit point D, right? If it would hit point D and there was an intersection, that means point D would be on the line AB, but it's obviously not on the line. And so, yep, and AB is coplanar with D. It's on the same plane. They're both on plane O, right? The line and the point. But line D is not on, point D is not on line AB. So they are not, there is no intersection. We're here, we're looking at this figure. Name the intersection of plane N, right? We know it's plane N because we have the capital cursive letter signifying this is the plane N. It's not plane D or plane A or plane E, right? Those are all points because those are not in cursive. It's plane N because N is in cursive. So what's the intersection of plane N and this line AE, right? AE. Well, if we look at line AE, we could see that we have part of the line is dotted. And what does that mean? It means that part of this line is behind the plane and we cannot see it. So if this is our plane right here, it's like as if this line, this pen, was going through the plane like this, right? You can see right here there's pen, but we can't see it, the pen. That's the dotted portion that they have drawn here. It's the part of the line going through this plane that we cannot see, right? This part behind the plane. So anyhow, if we have this, what is it asking? Is what's the intersection of this line and this plane? What's the intersection of this line AE and this plane N? Well, you could see it's right here, right? This is the point B is where the line breaks through the plane, point B, right? So I'm going to go ahead and put B. or you can also put point B. Now for part 2, it's named the intersection of BC, this line here, and DC. So the intersection of this line and that line. And so where do they hit each other? They hit each other right there at C. Right? So I'm going to put at point C. So here is, does DC intersect with AE? Right? So if I'm on my plane again, right, here's my plane, and here is my AE going through the plane. Maybe I could put it right there, right? What would my DC look like? My DC would be over here on my plane, right here. Right? So does the pen and my finger here representing this line, do they intersect? Do they touch each other? Right? Well, if you saw this in 3D, it's really obvious that they don't touch each other. Okay? They would touch each other if it was like this. They would touch each other if it was like this, right? But it's not. It's, here's a line on the plane, my finger, and then we have this other line popping through the bottom of the plane and going through the top of the plane, right? And they don't touch. So this line AE does not intersect with DC. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, it looks like they intersect right there, right here, right? But this dotted portion of the line is what's behind the plane. Right? It's what's behind the plane. So we have this kind of a effect going on where it's like, is my finger touching that pen? No, it's not touching that pen. Although maybe sometimes it might look like it if I do this, right? Is my finger touching the pen? If you look at this, right? Is this finger on the plane touching my pen? No, it's not touching. Although it might look like it, right? It might look like it's intersecting right here. It's not intersecting right there, right? They don't touch, right? They don't touch if you look at it from the right angle. And that's what's happening here. So we say no. And we could say that although AC intersects plane N, I don't have enough space. So although AE intersects plane N, right? DC does not intersect line AE. So let's go ahead and move on to the next question, and we're referring to this figure here. Name the 3 line segments that intersect at point A. So here's point A right here. And so we're talking about line segments, right? And when we refer to line segments, we don't put the arrows at the top. So what are the 3 line segments that intersect at line A? Well, we would have GA, right? So I'm going to say GA, like that. We have BA right here. So we got BA. We have DA. This is the corner in the back of the box that we don't see, right? So we got DA. Notice I don't put the arrows on the end, right? Because we're talking about line segments, right? Parts of the line. Now the next one is name the line segment, the line of intersection of plane GAB. GAB would be the top of the box, right? The plane that represents the top of the box. And then FEH represents the plane that is the front of the box. So where does the front of the box and the top of the box touch? It touches right here, right? At line GH. And this is a line, so I'm putting my 2 arrows on the end. Last question, do planes GFE, the front of the box, and plane HBC, the right side of the box, do they intersect? Do they touch? Yes, they do touch. They touch right here at HE. Yes, they do touch. Yes, at HE. Okay. And so why do they touch at HE? It's because the front of the box, or the plane that represents the front of the box, intersects the plane represented by the side of the box at that corner of the box, right? So at that line HE is where they touch, that's where they intersect.